Hey guys, and thanks for tuning into The Open Road. Today I'm embracing my inner soccer mum. So today we're taking a look at the Holden Acadia. It's a new vehicle for Holden New Zealand and Australia. It's a 7-seat SUV, and it is a larger SUV. Something that I noticed actually was when the images first came out, I thought it was going to be a larger vehicle, and then seeing it in person, it's actually smaller than I thought it was going to be.
That's what she said.
Shut up, Alex. Realistically though, it's a bit of an interesting thing because when you're inside of it, you've got a lot of space and it feels really roomy, but to look at, it doesn't look as big as it feels inside, if that makes sense. No, don't say anything. But let's take a closer look. I'll put my sunnies on, it's a nice day out here. It's a bit of a gangster mum kind of a car if you look at it. Like, it's got the black and the chrome and the tints. It's actually quite cool. I really like the way that they've done the front. It's very aggressive, it's quite big and chunky and that sort of thing. The rear end of the car is a little bit more subdued, but overall I think the package is actually quite appealing. I think possibly one of the most important things to point out about this vehicle is how much car you're getting for your money in terms of features and all of that sort of thing. So let me show you some of those. So being a 7-seater SUV will probably make sense to start at the back and see what the cargo space is like. Let me just hit the button. Let me just hit the button again. It's a double tap, that's my bad. It's all automated, but there is a thing where you can like kick your feet under it. I haven't actually tried that yet, and I assume it works, but let's take a closer look. So in the back row of cargo space with the third row of seats down, there is a lot of space, plenty of space for shopping or your Swiss ball or whatever you got. But what's actually quite cool is getting the third row of seats up is really easy. There's these tabs here, you yank on those, you got a third row of seats. How easy is that? You want to get them back down, pull on them again, and they're gone. And what I also found is there's a lever back here which will knock down the middle row as well. So it's actually really easy to change how much space you've got in the back, and there is a lot of it. And there's USB in the very back, there's USB for the third row. It's all so yeah, it's very well appointed. You got tie down hooks, it's even more storage under the tray here. It's yeah, very, very well appointed, and there's a lot of space, and I think that third row pretty much just for kids or small people, but it's good nonetheless. So lever here, down they go, easy. And as I was saying, drink holders, USB, easy. Oh, and sunroof, mid-level sunroof. Oh, and vents for the air conditioning. So the aircon is, well, the climate controls for the whole vehicle, and it's actually pretty good. But we'll talk about that up the front. So as I said, probably the most interesting part about this car is how much you get in terms of features for what you're paying. And now when I say this car's got features, it's got, think about what every standard Holden has got these days in terms of features, and that's pretty impressive, and this has got more. For example, one of the things that's really stand out to me was a lot of cars these days have lane departure warning. This has lane departure assist. The difference being is if you've got lane departure warning and you're on the motorway, for example, and you start drifting and the steering wheel will vibrate, this will actually put you back in your lane, Karen. It will. You probably expect heated and cooling seats. Well, it's got those, it's got dual sunroofs, it's got amazing climate control. The stereo system in this, sound quality wise, is amazing. You can blast Katy Perry as loud as you want while you're on the way to pick up the kids or go to yoga or whatever it is you do, Susan. The infotainment system itself is the GM MyLink. We've seen it before, it's fine, it does its job, it's quite serviceable. I don't think it's the best looking system, but it's a very functional system. In terms of the trim, it's still very much Holden, but it's a nice one. The seats have got a very nice leather, they're quite soft and cushy, and it's good. The surfaces are very top spec Holden, if you will. This is the LTZV model, so it's the top offering, and the surfaces are nice. But again, it's very Holden, and when I say that, it's very current Holden in the sense of the buttons and everything will seem very familiar if you've seen, the new Commodore or any of the new Chevs that are coming in. There's a lot of part sharing, it feels very familiar. Something that freaked me out when I actually first started driving this car is I was backing it out of the place that I was at where I picked it up from in Newmarket, and You know how you've got the cameras and you've got the sensors for when you're parking? Well, this one has actually got vibrating modules in the seats to let you know where around you the thing that you're about to hit is coming from. So what this is actually going to do is you're going to find a lot of bored middle-aged housewives backing this around car parks just to get that vibration. The other time it actually does that is when you're about to hit something, because you've got front collision warning, so it'll blink big red lights at you and it'll vibrate the seat. And what I actually find quite funny is in the dash it'll show you a picture of an Acadia about to hit a car in front. I find that funny for the reason of, if you're about to hit something, I think the last thing you're going to be looking at is the dashboard, probably more likely your phone, Susan. Don't text and drive. But what I'm getting at is I just find it a very funny feature. Visibility isn't amazing. It's not terrible. The wing mirrors are very good and they're very serviceable and they're quite large and you get a pretty good field of view behind you. However, the direct rear view mirror is going through a very small rear window, and it actually makes it quite hard to see what's directly behind you. But you don't usually look at that, do you, Karen? Maybe you should. Anyway, I think that's probably about enough on terms of features and stuff like that. I mean, I guess we should probably take it for a drive. Alrighty, let's do some driving. Automatic, can do manual and low mode. Yeah, the thing that I noticed about this truck is it's very, very effortless to drive. Like, very effortless. The steering's super light, the response is quite good. You do notice its size once you get into like little car parks and stuff like that, but I thought the best place for this car would be to take it to Remuera and put it in its natural habitat. So why don't we go to St. Helier's for a yoga class or something? Right, shut up child, I'm working now. Ooh, a new Alpha, that's quick. The thing that I like about this car, and it's quite noticeable very quickly, is that you feel very commanding. Like, I feel very comfortable, but I feel like I'm in a big couch. The seat's big and it's got nice big armrests, and I just feel like I'm very relaxed and very well taken care of. I think the thing that you notice the most is when you get to the fuel pump and you realize, hang on a minute, I'm actually driving a big heavy SUV and that costs fuel, because this is not the most economical car that I've reviewed recently, and that's fine, but that's just something that you have to take into account when you buy a 7-seater SUV, is that you're pulling around a large amount of weight and is using a V6 to do it. So, you know, that's gonna add up a bit. Thing is this car is like, I was going to sit here and talk about the handling and stuff like that. I mean, the handling's not terrible. It's not a race car, it won't stretch imagination. But I mean, for what it is, it handles fine. And I think the thing to remember about a car like this is that what's its intended purpose? The intended purpose for this vehicle, as I would imagine, is a lot of running around suburbia and stuff like that, a bit of motorway driving, which it all does very well. Maybe you do a bit of towing, you know, maybe Dad's borrowing this at the weekend to tow the boat or the dirt bikes or whatever. That's totally a thing, and apparently, I have to double check, I'll put it in the, right up on the website, the actual towing capacity, but it's pretty up there for what it is, in terms of, you know, you should be able to tow most things.
Also tripping about the cooling seats.
Oh, you like the cooling seats too? Yeah, well, it has got heated and cooling seats, as I mentioned. I have actually noticed other systems that cool seats better, but this heats really well. I did try it, even though it's like 32 degrees outside. But yeah, no, I mean, all of those things, they all work, and they're all quite impressive technology. And I think that's probably where the crux of this car is. I'll double check on the pricing, but ultimately, at the end of the day, if you buy the LTZ-V, which is the one we're in, which is the top spec, you get so much car for your money. It actually starts to rival some of the actual European cars, like your BMWs and stuff. Something that I didn't touch on just yet, which did come up this morning, was this does have a four-wheel drive system. Well, it's an all-wheel drive system, and it's got a few different modes within that. Typically, I've been driving this around just front-wheel drive, and it's been absolutely fine. But you know, if you want to go into a little bit of off-road, this will actually apparently do it quite well. I haven't taken it properly off-road, but it does have a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive system that I think we should probably go and test this at some point. We'll actually go off-road. It'll pull your boat out of a boat ramp or get out of a muddy, grassy area or whatever it is. So that's a nice to have on this, but then also being able to drive it around in two-wheel drive most of the time, and that's front-wheel drive, will save on fuel. But actually having an all-wheel drive system, this does have a pretty damn good turning circle, which is great for car parks and tight spaces and whatever. It's for the size of the vehicle, the turning circle is actually very impressive. So that's been the Holden Acadia. As far as Soccer Mum cars goes, pretty damn good. Obviously there's a few jokes in there, you know, we mean it with love. And just want to say thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time on the open road.